Hello, this is the RPG Crawler, and welcome to another RPG News Roundup, this time for December 7th, 2024, where each week I take a look back at the week in tabletop, computer, and console role-playing game news and bring you the highlights. As always, we will start with computer and console role-playing game news. It looks like Breath of Death 7, the beginning, Reanimated, is going to get a release on the 12th of December. It is essentially a remake of an RPG from a few years ago, Breath of Death 7, originally on the Xbox 360. I actually bought this like 3 times because it came out on PC as well, and I've never actually finished it. Oh well, at least the original version. Now it's getting a remaster. We'll see. It looks like Fishing Action RPG Sea Fantasy has another release date set. It's got a worldwide release on January 7th of 2025, targeting the PC. It'll featuring an open world with pixel art where the destruction of the world is about to happen, and a couple of fishermen may be the only ones to save the world. Citizen Sleeper 2 Starbird Vector is set to hit on January 31st. Follow up to Citizen Sleeper, of course. It'll be another narrative RPG targeting the PC, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X/S, as well as the Switch, and will mix visual novels with die-based tabletop-inspired mechanics. Mark of the Deep is set to release sometime in January of next year for the PC, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X/S, as well as the Nintendo Switch. It looks like it'll be a Metroidvania Souls-like, where you go looking for missing crew members after your ship is wrecked on a mystic island. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 looks like it's going to be released on February 4th of 2025. It looks like it'll be it will be the follow-up to historical action RPG Kingdom Come Deliverance, which I still need to finish. I've never actually finished that one. The 100 Line Last Defense Academy is set for release on April 24th of 2025. It'll target the PC and the Switch, and it'll mix adventure RPG elements with strategy RPG content. Or combat, rather. The Great Villainess Strategy of Lily was announced. It looks like it'll hit the PC sometime in spring of 2025. It'll feature a Duchess who is falsely accused of murder and who meets a time-traveling live streamer, because we all know that when you're on the run and when you're trying to get allies, a modern live streamer is the way to go. Whatever. Legends of Awen, Rise of the Fianna was announced. It will be a Celtic-inspired RPG, which I probably completely mispronounced, where you play an orphan with strange powers. It looks like it'll hit the PC, and there will be a Kickstarter for it sometime early next year, which I will cover when the time comes. Moonlighter 2, The Endless Vault, is in development. It'll target the PC, Xbox Series X/S, as well as the PlayStation 5 for release sometime next year. It is the sequel to the action RPG Moonlighter, and will feature the same main character trying to restore a village's former glory. Tomb Water looks like it'll hit the PC sometime next year. It'll be a top-down pixel art style RPG set in the Wild West with Eldritch-style horrors. Deserter will also hit sometime next year. It'll be a stealth RPG where you play a deserter who has become a thief. Shrouded Aspect is set for release sometime next year. It will be a turn-based tactical RPG in a medieval Celtic fantasy world. Shore of Jorg is set for release sometime next year. It'll be an RPG set in an alternate world where you play a retired military officer trying to survive the longest war in history. As far as actual releases go, Path of Exile 2 hit early access. It is an action RPG hack-and-slash style offering with a co-op up to 6 players, set many years after the original one. I've only played the original one a couple times. I thought it was really interesting, but it was too in-depth for me to really devote time to. Looks like this one's going to be much the same, so far so good. Caves of Cud saw its release. Is that how you pronounce it, Cud? It is a science fantasy roguelite, which is apparently specialized in having many different types of builds, allowing a great deal of flexibility in character progress and storytelling. I've heard really good things about this one as well. I probably need to pick it up. Chrono Sword is also in early access. It is a Souls-like action RPG, apparently, except it is top-down with an isometric view, where you travel between 2 time periods to figure out what happened with the destruction of the world. Fantasian Neo Dimension saw its release. It is a turn-based JRPG where you try to save the world from a mechanical infection, I guess. Crystar has a PlayStation 5 version released in North America and Europe. It was originally a PlayStation 4 and PC title. CyberQuest is a roguelike deck builder where you pitch your crew against other gangs in a city. Rings of Zilfin is a 1980s fantasy RPG. I think it was from early SSI. Yeah, it's early SSI. I had it from before they put out the gold box games, so think like CGA graphics, that kind of thing. Brigands is a hack-and-slash style beat-em-up dungeon crawler RPG with local co-op and was released into early access. Dungeons of Shalnor is a tactical based roguelike with a camera-based mechanic that not only turns your view of the scene, but also turns all the monsters and projectiles as well, so you can play with that. Quest Arrest looks to be a Game Boy Color-inspired RPG or maybe action-adventure style game where you play a recently promoted detective trying to clean up her city. Milo's Dream is a sort of Metroidvania game with a top-down view with pixelated graphics. My chair needs some oiling. The Edge of Allegoria is what appears to be a monochrome Game Boy-inspired RPG with turn-based combat and dark comedy. Dungeon Hero looks to be a very basic action-adventure RPG set in a dungeon, and I mean really bare-bones basic. But then Tower of Mask looks to be a little bit more complex, a survival horror dungeon crawler inspired by old first-person grid-based dungeons. Finally, there is Fernigeddon, a turn-based strategy RPG game where you burn down the world. Onwards towards tabletop RPG news, I'll dive right into minor and PDF releases, starting with Akasha Retold Raja Expanded for Pathfinder. It'll offer expanded content for use with the Untold Raja, which itself is used with the Akasha Untold for Pathfinder, including various paths, heritages, alternate class features, archetypes, feats, and more. Then Grove Guardian Press has a number of offerings for 5th edition. There's Land of Vampires Slipping into Shadow, a level 1 to 10 duet adventure. In fact, all of their stuff looks to be duet stuff. It's a 5th edition campaign. There's Friends in Need, a set of 3 mini adventures for duet 5th edition. There is, that duet edition is just duet 5th edition is just 5th edition games with just 2 players. Sacrifice in the Sanctum is another 5th edition duet adventure. There is Fae and Foes, a set of 6 one-shot duet adventures for 5th edition. Finally, Adventuring Companions is a set of classes and characters as well as supplemental rules for 5th edition duet-style play. Goodman Games has a few entries into their 5th edition fantasy series for 5th edition adventures. There is Flight from the Forge Pits and Tales from the Emerald Isle, the latter of which is actually a compilation of short adventures. Frog God Games has Quest of Doom 2, a collection of adventures for 5th edition. I really like their Quest of Doom 1, so good to see that one. Temple of Forgotten Whispers is a 5th edition adventure dealing with a cursed temple with deadly traps. Is also available in a premium version. Adventure Ripples has Thunder and Death, an adventure for 5th edition, dealing with a city where a once respected engineer has been dismissed from the king's service and then plots revenge. Then they have Curse of the Mud Witch, which deals with a witch living in a swamp where magic has begun to creep past its borders. From the Village Vault has another one-page adventure for 5th edition, this time called Teeth. A Blizzard of Bones is a modern horror adventure for 5th edition, which has a blizzard trapping a group in a mountain lodge where a malevolent force emerges from the darkness. Cold as Clay is a zine-style book for 5th edition, dealing with ghosts and hauntings as well as a supernatural blizzard. The Secret of Oki Island is a 5th edition solo adventure with a swashbuckler theme. Jingle Hells is a holiday-themed one-shot for 5th edition where you have to rescue Santa Claus from hell. I mean, do you have to? Anyway. Exploration Expanded Hunting is a sort of guidelines for creating hunting scenarios for 5th edition. The Dreamscape is a 5th edition supplement looking to include information on ready-made location in the Dream Realm. Epic Heroes Encyclopedia Volume 7 Paladin offers rules to play Paladins from 20th to 30th level, like much of their series. In fact, like all of their series. Monster Directive has a few offerings for 5th edition. There is Skydrift Bounty of Ashen, an adventure for the Skydrift setting with a node-based adventure structure. Then there is Death from Above, a Skylands monster compendium, both of those compatible with 5th edition. Dungeon Vault Magazine 52 has a set of adventures, lore, maps, and other material compatible with both 5th edition and Shadowdark. Jeremy Hart has another Creature Feature Quarterly volume, this time volume 10 for 5th edition, offering 13 monsters with lore, stats, virtual tabletop tokens, etc. October's Arcane Almanac is a 5th edition offering focused on new spellcasting ideas, including 8 new systems, 8 new arcane classes, along with archetypes, customizable mechanics, new spells, monsters, magic items, and so forth. Effluvium Fizzle Fumes Grimoire of Foulness is a 5th edition compatible offering dealing with various disgusting spells, feats, cantrips, and so forth. Zine of Wondrous Power, Issue 5, is a collection of 5th edition material from Astral Shark Games, including various shark-themed items, adventure locations, and so forth. Path of Pain Barbarian is a subclass for 5th edition for barbarians, which is basically almost like rage at your friends being hurt kind of thing. So I want to say almost anime styling, but it's not anime styling. It just reminds me of the typical anime protagonist. March to Haven is a Black Flag RPG-compatible adventure where the characters are refugees from a war for succession looking to lead other refugees to a new home, Haven. The Temple of Deepwood Flame is a Shadowdark adventure where a temple deep in the woods has been corrupted, It Fell from the Sky is now available in Shadow Dark RPG format, dealing with a small village where an alien spaceship has crashed. The Witch Book of Shadows is a Shadow Dark RPG class with new ancestries, new backgrounds, various talents, many new spells, monsters, magic items, and so on. Deluge at Drizzled Distillery is now a SAR-style adventure dealing with a distillery that makes holy water but is now subject to a magical storm. It is suited for Into the Odd and similar systems. Nordic Scalds has a couple of adventures for the Dragonbane RPG. There is Revenge for the Fallen and Loyalty Until Death. Then Dragon Zine Issue 2 is a zine for Dragonbane RPG, which has interviews, a bestiary section, various encounter tables, items, etc., etc. The Fourth Realm is a high fantasy medium rules tabletop RPG, classless, but with many skills, spells, and so forth. The Infinite Depth dungeon crawl system is a procedural dungeon generation system for solo players of pretty much any system, or for players with no group, or just to make a quick dungeon. Aegon Game Studios has a few more offerings for Ars Magica. There is Minor and Primal Magic, the Magic Realm, as well as Hedge Magic Volumes 1 through 4, each one covering a different one. In Fabulous Color is a 30s era Call of Cthulhu scenario revolving around the movie industry. It has pre-generated investigators. And then Cats of Cthulhu 10th Anniversary Compendium collects all the material for the original complete role-playing game of Cats Against Cosmic Chaos, giving everything you need to create your cat and defend human civilization from the forces beyond. Mythos Dungeons is a collection of ready-to-use horror dungeons which can be used for any Lovecraftian-style system. Loner Pulp Adventures is a solo RPG dealing with classic pulp fiction scenarios. Liber Sanguinis et Ostium is a collection of necromancy-based paths and rituals for the World of Darkness Vampire, the Dark Ages 20th Anniversary Edition. Heroes of the Sweet Spot is a collection of characters for Trinity Continuum Adventure. Fast Gamalitic Age is a world book for the Fast system. It deals with a future of limited civilization and mutations. Traveler Merchants Edition is an introduction to the Traveler sci-fi RPG with everything you need to create adventures or even campaigns focused around traders and merchant princes. Concordance is a 2d6 sci-fi adventure style, so CPS Engine adventure style, offering set around a festival in a once war-torn world. Finally, there is Scoundrels of Brixton, SU-1 Phantoms of Unav, which is the third of a series of supplements dealing with the Brixton solar system for the Cepheus Engine systems. And with that, we will take a look at crowdfunding campaigns. Remember that contributing to a crowdfunding campaign should be done only at your own risk. Doing so is no guarantee of receiving a product. Mentioned here is not an endorsement, it is for informational purposes only. Not much in terms of video game crowdfunding caught my eye this time, so we'll start right in with Heart of Courage, a 5th edition adventure with microscopic themes, a one-shot that lets you shrink down to face a battle within a human body. Wasn't there? Yeah, there were several movies about that. Inner Space is the one that sprung to mind. The Death of Hartwig Grimwald will be a 5th edition one-shot murder mystery, but where the murder doesn't actually happen until the adventure is well underway, so you actually get to know the guy that's about to be taken out. Heart of Darkness will be a campaign book for 5th edition with a dark fantasy sandbox theme. Frankenstein's Legacy will be a 5th edition Gothic-style adventure dealing with Victor Frankenstein's monster, which is still around after his creator's death. Krampus Klaus is Coming to Town is another 5th edition Christmas adventure, once again featuring Krampus, because we cannot have Christmas without lots and lots of Krampus just shoved down your throat. There is Malamorte's Oddities Collection, Festiva Bonfire, a 5th edition collection of winter-themed horror monsters and grim magic items. Santaling Sorcerer and other holiday subclasses will be a collection of Christmas-themed subclasses and races for 5th edition. Tiny Tome of the Fae will be a 5th edition compatible collection of Fae creatures with backgrounds on each one. Sepulchre of Dusk will be a Shadow Dark RPG adventure revised. It's Sepulchre of Dusk revised version. It's a dungeon crawl suited for both new and experienced players. Then Moss, Stone, and Steel will be a medieval dark fantasy role-playing game, which I could have sworn I've covered in the past. I don't like covering things that are just re-released, but anyway. Dungeons of the Two Kings will be a fantasy RPG. I mean, if I'm wrong, forgive me. I just think I've seen something with that very same name in the past. Dungeons of the Two Kings will be a fantasy RPG module for OSR style systems, especially advanced first edition versions, but adaptable to other ones. Then it looks like Dark Places and Demogorgons getting a Tome of Adventure 1 and Tome of Adventure 2, featuring 11 complete adventures for Dark Places and Demogorgon system. Blood After Blade will be a samurai-inspired tabletop RPG set in feudal Japan. Voltron the RPG will be a licensed tabletop RPG based on Voltron Defender of the Universe. Finally, there is Dammit, a Space Dwarf RPG dealing with asteroid mining, fighting bugs, and of course, dwarves. And on that note, I am going to wrap things up here. Sorry for the rush, I'm just trying to get this out before I go sneezing. It's been that kind of year. This has been the RPG Crawler with my RPG news roundup for December 7th, 2024. As always, links will be below. If you like what you've seen, remember to leave a like, comment, got any feedback, and subscribe for more RPG content. Until next time, take care and goodbye.
And if you are still watching, I would like to take the opportunity to thank my supporters, the top tiers of which are listed on the screen, without whose support I would not have been able to offer the variety of content that I have on this channel throughout the years. If you're feeling particularly generous and would like to join them, you can support the channel. There are a variety of options to do so. I have a Patreon, a Subscribe Star, as well as channel memberships enabled. If you are not in a position to contribute, simply leaving a like, a comment, or sharing my videos are all wonderful ways to help the channel grow without spending a dime, and are all greatly appreciated.